Welcome to Mirror Domain's movie news for January 27th, 2022. Guys, it's a big day. A lot of big news stories that we're going to talk about today. Let's just see what we're going to be talking about. The final Uncharted trailer just dropped, and I did a trailer reaction to that. We'll talk about that. Mortal Kombat 2 movie is in the works. Matt Reeves talks about the Batman. And there's some Spider-Man therapy from the director that we're going to talk about. He talks about all three movies and what they meant to him. Tobey Maguire suits up. Halloween Ends has another new set photo. Peacock loses money. Neil Young leaves Spotify. And we'll round out the day with looking at Twitter in the Twitter Roundup. Guys, if you don't know how this show works, it's daily. It's a movie news daily show at 12 p.m. Eastern. And the way it is that I get up in the mornings, I turn on the computer, I look at all the movie news headlines, so I say, well, you know what? Why not just turn on the camera and let you guys join me with this journey? But let's start off today's bit of movie news with the big thing. The Uncharted final trailer. Guys, I did a trailer reaction to this, and it will be up on the channel later on, but I gotta tell you this. It just does a good job of showing us what we're gonna be getting with this Uncharted movie, with the tone, with the sense of humor that Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg have. They're gonna have good chemistry. They're going to have really, really good chemistry. And that final trailer sold me. Yeah, like, if the second one sold me, then this one was like, okay, when can I get my my tickets? Because I want to see this opening night for sure. Because it just looks like it's going to be a lot of fun at theater. I was just kind of like, ooh, wow. Now, I'm not going to show you the entire trailer here. But we'll take a look at some snaps just here quickly. It's just them. It doesn't show a whole lot of new footage. It shows a little bit of some new dialogue, but it shows them. It just looks like it's going to be a lot of fun, guys. A lot of fun. Uncharted. And Antonio Banderas looks like he's going to chew it up as the bad guy. He just looks like he's just gonna have a whole lot of fun playing this guy, and we see some of the big showcase stunts in this trailer. So guys, if you are curious about that, the trailer reaction for it will be up on the channel Mirror Domains later on after today's show, and it's already in the can. I just got to edit it and put it up. So did you see the Uncharted final trailer? If you did, let me know in the comments below what you thought about it, because I thought it was pretty cool. Did you guys like the Mortal Kombat movie? Mortal Kombat 2 apparently is in the works. And I was a little bit shocked, but then once you start to read about it, then you're kind of like, okay, well, yeah, that makes a little bit of sense. So let's go over and take a look at what's going on here. New line moving forward with Mortal Kombat sequel. Moon Knight scribe Jeremy Slater. Jeremy Slater is scripting it. Ooh, Moon Knight. But you know, Moon Knight, we don't know yet because we haven't seen it, but the fact that he's coming on to write Mortal Kombat 2, well, why is there a Mortal Kombat 2 coming in the works? Because the first one was it only grossed like 80 million at the box office, and Cole Young just got under so many people's skin. I was kind of like, why are you giving us this character? And you killed Goro! So how is that going to work? You know what I want for the second Mortal Kombat film? Give us the tournament. Give us the Mortal Kombat tournament for Mortal Kombat 2. How about that? That's what I want to see. That's what I really want to see. Anyway, let's continue on here. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Mortal Kombat 2 has hired scribe Jeremy Slater, and I guess that's this bloke right here. Doesn't really matter what he looks like. No. Okay, but he has done some other credits, including Netflix 21 Laps, film Uprising. Okay. He's adapting Tommyknockers. Oh, they're redoing Tommyknockers by James Wan for Universal. Interesting. So he's got some credits. He's done some showrunning for Exorcist as well. But why are we getting a Mortal Kombat 2? Basically, guys, Mortal Kombat was one of the biggest hits for HBO Max. It was one of the things that really got their subscribers going. It boosted it up way for them, way high for them. And that's why we're getting a Mortal Kombat 2. But it goes into that same question as before, where I just want to see the tournament. I don't know what you're going to do now that you've killed Goro. Are we going to get Kintaro? I just, and please get rid of Cole Young. Cole Young needs to die exactly in the first 2 minutes like Johnny Cage did at the end or in the beginning of Mortal Kombat Annihilation. Because get rid of him. Just give us Johnny Cage. We want Johnny Cage, right? Mortal Kombat 2, what do you think? Let me know in the comments below, and we'll talk about it. Matt Reeves has come out, and he's directing The Batman, and he's talked about not using Ben Affleck's script, and he talked about his ideas about what he wanted to do with the Batman in a couple of interviews here that we'll go through. And it's interesting because I wanted to see the Ben Affleck Batman. I think a lot of us did. And they still should make it, because they can just say, guys, we can have two Batmans on movies going on at the same time. People aren't going to get confused with all of that stuff. We just saw multiple Spider-Man on this big screen. So what's Matt Reeves talking about? Matt Reeves, Ben Affleck's Batman script was James Bondian. So he was, well, that's because he was an older Batman. He's already been in the game, and look, he was looking towards retirement. He was... he had all of his gadgets, and he was at the height of his powers. He's already maybe even gone past that peak. But what is he talking about? Basically, they were trying to bring him on, and, well, we got a couple of juicy quotes we can take a look at here. First, he goes on to read this about what he thought about the first script, the Ben Affleck script. I read a script that they had that was a totally valid take on the movie. It was very action-driven. It was very deeply connected to the DCEU because, well, he's with Wonder Woman, The Flash, and all of that stuff, with other major characters from other movies and other comics popping up. Well, of course, because he's also got to deal with Lex and the League of Anti-Heroes that he was putting together that never really happened. And we did want to see that happen. Even though it was totally exciting, it was a totally exciting take, and somewhat felt like almost James Bondian, he revealed. It just wasn't for him, because it wasn't the story that he was envisioning for that character, since he loved that character as a kid. So what is Matt Reeves talking about here? This is a rather long quote, so please bear with me. I just knew that when I read this particular script, there was not the way that I wanted to do it. So he didn't want to do that. I said, look, I think maybe I'm not the person for this. And I explained why I love this character. And I told them that there have been so many great movies, but if I were to do this, I'd make it personal so that I understand what I was going to do with it. So I know where I was going to put the camera, so that I know what to tell the actors, so that I know that the story should be, hey, I know what you're talking about, Matt Reeves. I know. This take, I told them, pointing at the script, is a totally valid and exciting take, and it's almost James Bondian. So that ties back into that first one. He said, so basically what happened, the studio said, oh, okay, well, we'll wait for you. We'll let you develop your Batman movie. And it took a while for them, because he was still working on the Apes movies. So it's kind of like, guys. Wow, that's a real risk. You can tell then that the studios really wanted Matt Reeves. So he said, so what I'd love to do, if you are interested, this is where the quote is, guys. I'd like to get involved and find a way to take the story and make it very, very personal, and get to the place I want him to be, to make it a Batman story and give him the arc and have the story rock him to his core. Well, he's in the first year, so yeah, it's going to rock him to his core. He's still learning the ropes as Batman, right? It wasn't going to be another origin story. That's good. We'll talk about that in a moment. Not with Ben already in the character. Yeah, we can't do an origin with Ben in the character because we already know that, right? But that's what I would do. And to my utter shock and surprise, they said, you know what? We really would like you to do this and we'll wait. So there you go. Wait a minute. Hold on. What did he say here? I thought he said he wasn't going to do an origin story. But, okay, let me read this again. It wasn't going to be another origin story, not with Ben already in character, but that's what I would do. Wait a minute. It wasn't going to be an origin story, but that's what you would do? That's a little bit convoluted. So we need a little bit of clarification with this story. You can see that he liked the Ben Affleck script. It just wasn't at that point in time of the Batman story that he wanted to tell. But we need to clarify this origin story bit. The Batman won't include Bruce Wayne's origin story. Good. Because we've seen that how many times now, and even in the Joker movie with Joaquin Phoenix, we saw Batman's origin story. They just can't keep their hands away from it. We know how it happens. We know he's conflicted and he's distraught by his parents getting gunned down. We know that. We don't need to revisit it every time. We know that that's what's dealing with his psyche and what's driving him to become a ruthless vigilante. But I just want to give you the main quote here. Guys, this is a really long article, and I thought I had this highlighted. But he just goes on to reiterate once again, that it's tired. It's a tired trope. We've all seen it before. Okay, yeah, there it is. We've seen it so many times, Reeves said. It's been done too much. I knew we couldn't do that. So that's good. So the Batman won't have his origin story. It won't hit us over the head with it because I feel like we've seen that story way too much. And that's pretty much the way that that story shapes up. What did you guys think about that story? About Matt Reeves giving a little more clarity to where the Batman's inspirations have come from and what happened to Ben Affleck's script? Let me know in the comments below and we'll talk about it. Spider-Man No Way Home is still in theaters. It's rocking it. Number one at the theater. Number one. And we're going to get some quotes here from the director, who I've completely forgotten his name. John Watts. John Watts. By the way, guys, if you have any story requests, anything you want me to talk about, let me know in the comments below. Let me know in the comments in the live chat too. I'll get to them as quickly as I can, and we'll talk about that, because that's what I like to do on this channel. Is I want to build an audience. I want to talk with you guys in the live chat. We'll talk about movie news and entertainment news. That's what we're going to do here every day, 12 p.m. Eastern. All right. Spider-Man No Way Home director reveals therapy session held for Tom Holland, Andrew Garfield, and Tobey Maguire. Whoa, what's all this about? Basically, when they all came together, they all sat down and read the script and just talked about what Spider-Man meant to them. And in this interview, John Watts gives us where he was going with this trilogy of the Home series. You know how there was Homecoming, No Way Home, and what was the second one called? We'll get to that. In some quotes here that he's got. In this interview that came from Variety, he goes on to talk about shooting with all the different visual effects and stuff like that. It's very interesting stuff. I'm not going to go into it in length here, but yeah, Far From Home was the second one. Well, I really liked Far From Home a lot, actually, because it developed the story more with Peter and MJ. And I think that's when I started to realize that Zendaya was going to be huge, because their chemistry was awesome in that. And it was really spectacular in No Way Home as well. Okay, so he just wanted to talk about the evolution of Peter Parker and how he was going to go into all of this stuff. And how much of a challenge it was with the VFX, which was cool learning about that stuff. But let's talk about this little therapy session he had. We sat on folding chairs in a circle and went through the script together. I had talked to everyone separately, but to have everyone together to talk about the story, how the pieces fit together, and what Spider-Man meant to them, that was exciting for me. So they all talked about what Spider-Man was to them, and yeah, that could be like therapy. We had the only 3 actors ever to play Spider-Man in a film, and each of them had been through so much on and off screen. It was like a Spider-Man therapy session. That, I wish they imagine if they recorded that and we got to see some of that footage of them all talking to each other, sharing stories of what Spider-Man meant to them. That would be awesome. That would just be absolutely spectacular. Let's continue on with what's going on in this article, because he does talk about what each installment of the Tom Holland Spider-Man movie was about. So let me just see if I can find that. Okay, so here it is. I've always taken my greatest fear and made that central to the thematics of the films. He said, Homecoming is about a kid who gets a huge opportunity and is so afraid he'll miss his chance that he creates a disaster. That was my fear. What if I screw up this whole thing? You didn't. Far From Home is about being afraid to make a second movie and screwing things up. Again, Peter Parker is given a mission and he doesn't want to take a risk. Yeah, well, that's true, because yeah. No Way Home is about him trying to finish this origin story and the responsibility that comes with this. Peter Parker and Spider-Man mean so much to people that I felt that I had that responsibility. So that's the way that Jon Watts felt about this project. He's completed a masterpiece of a trilogy of telling the Spider-Man story, and it's just, oh, I want to see No Way Home again in the theaters. That's what it makes me want to do, because the last 30 minutes is just so spectacular that I just I love that. But what did you guys think about Matt Reeves' quote here? Jon Watts. What do you think about Jon Watts' quote here? Let me know in the comments below, and we will talk about it. Let's continue on talking about Tobey Maguire suiting up for Spider-Man 2. There's some more Spider-Man news here too. Tobey Maguire opens up about Spider-Man No Way Home return. Now, everybody's been talking about Andrew Garfield's return, and Tobey's kind of gotten overshadowed by that, because Andrew was infamous for lying and saying, no, I'm not in this movie. He even told Emma Stone that, no, I'm not in it, and he had fun with it. But now Tobey's talked about it, and I just want to talk and give you one of his quotes here that stood out to me, because I found it fascinating. It was really cool to see him back as Spider-Man 2. So he said, for his part, the outfit felt a bit uncomfortable to slip back into, but once he was back in the spider suit, he found himself humbled and grateful for the opportunity to revisit the character. And that's class. That's good, Tobey. I'm glad you said that, because everybody was thinking, oh, well, if there's going to be a holdout, it would be him, because he's a little bit too old to do it now. But he did it, and he was perfect. He was perfect. Okay, so he's got a bit of a longer quote here, and I'll read it. It was uncomfortable getting in on, and then it's a goof, and then it's also has a sort of power in a sense, because it brings me back into that character. It really does. There's so much affinity for this character. It means so much to so many people that once the goofiness of being in Lycra or spandex goes away, you're like, oh, wow, this is cool. This is a responsibility, but a blessing, like something that I get to do that I'm grateful for. Honestly, being with these guys, it really was just a much, much richer experience than I anticipated, or that I could really even express in words. Wow, this is poetic almost. I know that that's not the question about the suit, but the suit it's just to get to be there with these guys in the suits, with their suits, and whether it was like dancing around or playing around in the scenes and improving or feeling that kind of sense of service to each other, and the character being in service to humanity, it really gives us a certain perspective. So that's what Tobey felt about reprising his role as Peter Parker in Spider-Man. I think that's just great. That's fantastic. It felt super safe and like we were all on the same team and all in support of each other, and it just brought us out. I don't know how to put it other than just like this really loving, fun, creative experience. It was just like sitting in a gratitude every day, which was not always the case when you're working on something, even just from the standpoint of trying to figure out what you're doing. And it wasn't with its challenges, but it's all unfolded the way that it needed to. It had a sense of this kind of destiny. It was so well that I guess the suit and the suit was the doorway to that. So guys, that's a little bit maybe perhaps of what Tobey was talking about in that therapy session. And I'm sure that's awesome. That's just good quotes. What do you think about Tobey Maguire putting back on the costume again? I felt like that gave us a little bit more insight into it, and it just makes you wish that it just makes you happy that they were all on the screen together, sharing stories and just having fun with it. And I like that vibe, how he was talking about how they almost gave each other power, seeing each other in their suits and just working with the dialogue. Oh God, that would Spider-Man No Way Home, guys. Go out and see it if you haven't seen it. It was fantastic. New Halloween Ends photo brings Jamie Lee Curtis and Andy Matichak and Kyle Richards together again. Andy Matichak. I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce that, but that looks like they're in a bar. Yesterday, we looked at the first image that had just Jamie Lee Curtis in it, and she was on set, but now it looks like they're going to get together, the three of them, and going to be in Halloween Ends. Okay, so Laurie Strode, Allison Nelson, and Lindsay Wallace characters. Okay, from Jason Blum. This is from his Twitter, guys. Jason Blum brought us this from his Twitter, and hopefully I don't get a lag for hitting that link. Let's see if we can make that a little bit bigger. Yep, there we go. I can't wait to see how this trilogy of the Halloween reboot ends. Halloween Ends is supposed to take place about a year or a couple of years after Halloween Kills. So we'll see how hopefully she arms up again and gets ready to kick some butt. But that's pretty much the way that story goes. There's really not too much more to talk about, guys. What did you think about the new Halloween Ends photo? Let me know in the comments below. Are you guys subscribed to Peacock? It's a streaming service out there from NBC, right? NBC. Apparently, it's lost a lot of money. Okay. Peacock loss grows to $1.7 billion in 2021 as Comcast's Q4 tops expectations. Guys, what kind of a business is allowed to lose $1.7 billion and allowed to continue its operations? Only the big corporations. I'm speechless. How are you able to lose that much and still keep it going? Like, why would you continue going? Now, I know that there are some good things on Peacock that have come out, but I think Peacock is going to be on the slate for one of those ones that goes under, because you can't compete with Netflix. Disney Plus is sort of getting there. Obviously, HBO Max has a lot of material that a lot of people are watching. I think Peacock and Paramount Plus are going to go under probably because you just can't compete with the catalog. You can't. But let's just figure out what is happening here. Revenue for the NBCU streaming service hit $778 million in 2021. So notching 9 million subscribers. I wanted to take a quick look at this because if it was adjusted, it was a loss of 1.7 billion. It leaves me speechless as to why. Oh, hey, you know what? I'm going to do a project. I'm going to lose money on it, but I'm going to continue on with it because somewhere down the road, maybe in a couple of years, I'll start to make a little bit of profit. Maybe. Peacock. Premium is only $4.99 a month. Premium is $10. $5 and $10. Stop with this $4.99 BS. This story, it has the borderline qualities that gets me a little bit triggered thinking about big business, because only in big business are you allowed to lose that much money and still continue to do business. Most people fold up and go under. It's just Peacock loses a whole bunch of money. All right, let's move on to some more entertainment news. Neil Young. Guys, we talked about Neil Young on, what was it, Tuesday show, how he wanted to leave Spotify because Joe Rogan was talking, not anti-vax stuff, but he was talking about pandemic stuff. So anyway, what happened? Let's see what happened. Spotify did end up removing his material. So, that's not the one I wanted to talk about. Neil Young has left Spotify. They've granted his request to remove his material because he was upset with the way that Joe Rogan was being allowed to go on with all of this sort of conspiracy talk about the pandemic and how you don't need to take the sort of anti-vax stuff. But let's not talk about Rogan. Let's just talk about what happens with Neil Young. Sirius XM lands Neil Young's music after Spotify removal. And I saw this late last night that his material was being pulled. And I was like, whoa, okay. But you know what? Neil Young just comes from that era where, hey guys, if you want to stand up for something and you want to say, hey, this kind of behavior is not for me, I want to make a statement about something. Well, that's what they used to do. And I don't know if anybody else is going to follow suit with him because he is going to lose some cheddar. But Neil Young is well enough off that he doesn't have to worry too much about that. But it looks like his music is going to be on Sirius XM now instead of Spotify. And I've told you in the story on Tuesday that Spotify, I listen to it, but I just can't stand the commercials. And I'm not going to pay for it when it's mostly free. And I haven't listened to Rogan since he's left YouTube anyway. So I know the kind of chatter that he was talking about. Sirius XM just says, when you have an opportunity to present an iconic artist still at the height of his creativity, you don't hesitate to do it again. So they nabbed him up, and they should. So, because, guys, we don't care, for the most part, where the streaming service, where we're listening to the music, as long as we can listen to the music. That's the way I am. I have Spotify and iTunes and all that stuff on my YouTube Music on my computer, and it's kind of like, well, wherever I can get it, because some things just aren't on certain platforms. So, and I'll listen to Spotify for new things, but I won't listen to it for a long time because of all the ads. YouTube Music's like that too. So I hate ads. That's why when I do the live streaming, I don't turn on the ads when I'm doing it live, only until it's after it's uploaded. Then I'll put on the ads because I want people to talk. I want people to come into the conversation. But what do you think about that Neil Young story and his beef with Joe Rogan? If there's any kind of angle that I'm not seeing this right at, let me know in the comments below and we'll talk about it. All right, guys, let's round out the day by looking at the Twitter stream to see what's going on out there. Maybe there was something I missed. If there was, let me know in the comments and we'll go right to that story. But let's just take a look at film updates to see if there's anything else new out there. Yes, the new Uncharted trailer that has been released. We talked about that at the beginning. The soundtrack for Euphoria Season 2 will include new music from James Blake, Eric Dua, and more. Well, and we know that it's going to have Blue Jeans Girl. Why am I forgetting her name? Wow, I forgot her name. Andrew Garfield, photographed by Ryan he can still play Spider-Man. We need an amazing Spider-Man 3. Look at him, guys. And girls. He can still pull it off. Apple has acquired the rights to Cooper Raif's Cha-Cha Real Smooth, starring Dakota Johnson. I don't know what the heck that is. First look at Apple TV's. There's another streaming service, Apple TV. Jenna Ortega, there's a big name that's coming up. Jenna Ortega is a big name that's coming up, guys. You got to keep your eye out for Jenna Ortega. On playing Wednesday Addams in Tim Burton's upcoming series. So she just had the Scream movie that came out. She's going to be in that grindhouse horror thriller called X. And she's going to be in this Tim Burton series as Wednesday Addams. It's like a claymation or stop motion, right? Is that the way it's going to be? Kirsten Stewart covers the latest issue. Backstage magazine. Any movie news, guys? The first episode of Riverdale was 5 years ago. Mandy Moore. Don't need that. Lady Gaga on another cover for Deadline. As I said yesterday, guys, in that Jake Gyllenhaal interview she did with him, Actors on Actors, she takes a good photograph. Lady Gaga always takes a good photograph. Incredibly beautiful. And I like the black and white. I like the black and white because I like to draw. So I like the values. Just working with shading and stuff like that. I might have to save that one. Oh, yeah. Speaking of that Actors on Actors interview for Variety. There we go. There it is. I'll have to watch it. It's like a 50-minute long interview. They just talk about each other's projects and stuff like that. Is that all that's going on in the realm of of movie news on Twitter? Rachel Ziegler. She this is the new Snow White, and we talked a lot about that Snow White story this week. She was also in West Side Story, so we'll have to see how that goes. we really do. I think that's all that's here today, guys. Colin Farrell, yeah. Maybe I will go to the Reddit page and see what's going on in there. If there's anything else going on today, guys, let me know in the comments below. I'm going to pretty much have to sign out here because I'm not seeing anything else. Movie news and discussion. Sometimes there's the odd thing that drops in here. Timothy Chalamet, how the Prince of Indy grew into a multiplex star. That's nothing. There's the new Batman poster that came out yesterday. M. Night Shyamalan on Servant Season 3 and casting Dave Bautista to lead his next film. What? See? Something does break eventually sometimes, eh? M. Night Shyamalan on Servant 3 and casting Dave Bautista in his next film, Knock at the Cabin. I didn't know who he was at the time, and he stuck in my head. That's your only reason for casting Bautista? I sure hope it's better than old. M. Night, please be better than old. He's always hit and miss now. M. Night is just a huge hit and miss. But you know what, guys? That wraps it up for today in the realm of movie and entertainment news for January 27th. Let me know what you thought about some of these stories in the comments below. And once this gets rendered by YouTube, I'll try to put maybe some time codes if I have time. It takes a lot of time to produce this stuff. Guys, that's it. And I'll see you tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern on Mirror Domains Movie News.